Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Baxter. I'm the Executive Director of the California Veterinary Medical Association, and I am here with our Director of Regulatory Affairs, Dr. Grant Miller, and our Director of Membership Services, Kristen Calderon. This is the first ever member and even non-member, some of you out there are probably non-member orientation that we've had here at the CVMA, at least since I've been here. We plan to hold these once or twice a year going forward as basically a way to share with both members and non-members what we do here at the CVMA, what we're all about, the vast range of services that we provide, just to give all of you who, again, are either members who already have access to everything that we do, a better sense of all that you do have access to, and then also to talk to non-members who might be considering CVMA membership and what it all entails. So we're going to faithfully observe a 1 hour or less, depending on questions that we get, limitation here today. So we will definitely be done by no later than 6:30. We will take questions during the course of the presentation, so feel free to use the Q&A panel to ask those questions, and we'll get to those to the best of our ability. If there are any questions that we can't get to during the time we have allotted here today, we'll reach out to you separately. If you give us your information, you can contact us after this webinar with any questions you have. It's certainly our goal to be responsive to anything that you would like to ask us or talk about. So I'm going to get started here by talking about a few different things, and then I'll turn it over to Kristen and Grant respectively. So I'm going to talk, first of all, a little bit about how we're organized and structured. I'm not going to take a super deep dive into that, but the goal would be to perhaps entice some of you who are thinking about getting into CVMA leadership, a committee, the board, the House of Delegates, something like that, give you a little bit more information on what that entails. I'm then going to talk about some of the initiatives that we're working on, some of the upcoming CE events that we have and sort of how those work. I'll talk about some of our affiliated organizations like VISC, the insurance brokerage that we own, and the California Veterinary Medical Reserve Corps, which is our disaster deployment arm. I'll then turn it over to Kristen to talk about member benefits, and then ultimately to Grant to talk about our legislative and regulatory advocacy. So again, if you have any questions that come up on the fly, feel free to type them into the Q&A panel and we will answer them as best we can. So I'm going to take over the screen sharing here. See if I can do this without too much difficulty. And it should be coming across now. So all of the screen sharing that I'll be doing is directly from our website, and I'm doing that not only to provide you with some of the information here, but also to get you acclimated with the CVMA's website. We've recently revamped it, including our logo, which you can kind of see there. And the website is much, much more user-friendly and functional than it was even a year or 2 or 3 ago. So if you haven't been to our website for a while, we really encourage you to do it. It's intuitive, it's easy to use, it's broken down in a way that is easily digestible. And so we encourage you, if you have any questions about any of the things we're talking about, certainly you can ask us, but also our website is a real resource. So organizationally, there are essentially three kind of levels that I'd like to talk to you briefly about. Our Board of Governors is sort of the engine that drives the CVMA. They set the policy. They tell us what to do here on staff. They set the direction for the ship that is the CVMA and tell us which direction to go and how to go about it. It's a 17-member group. It's broken down geographically. We have a president who right now, our 2025-26 president is Dr. Peter Bowie from Petaluma, and just scrolling kind of slowly through, you can see all of our governors. Most of them are geographically rooted, representing different regions of the state. And then we have a series of at-large governors who are generally selected based on subject matter to try to round out the spectrum of practitioners that we have here at the CVMA. Of particular note, we have two specifically dedicated positions on our Board of Governors. One is to a registered veterinary technician. We are the only state veterinary medical medical association in the country that has a voting RVT board member. And another very recent addition, who's embodied by Dr. Ethan McEnroe here. He is our first ever early career DVM board member, and that's for people who are 7 years or less out from veterinary school. So as I mentioned, we're generally geographically organized, and you can see here the various geographic districts that are represented by the CVMA. So if you ever have any questions or desire to possibly seek membership on our Board of Governors, want to know what that's about, want to know what the process is, terms are, anything like that, feel free to reach out to me directly here at the CVMA, and I'm happy to provide that information to you. My email is dbaxter@cvma.net. The second part organizationally of the CVMA is our House of Delegates, and that represents essentially the local constituents, so made up of different local organizations that then send delegates to our business meetings twice a year. The House serves as sort of a sounding board, a link between the Board of Governors and rank and file membership, and it's a way for rank and file membership to push issues up to CVMA leadership, and a way for CVMA leadership to inform rank and file membership about what we're working on. So it's essentially a two-way traffic signal, if you will, of information flow. Delegates get appointed by the local organizations themselves. So if you are a member of a local association in California, there's a good chance that that local association has a delegate, one or more delegates on our House of Delegates. So if you're interested in possibly working as a delegate, certainly you can seek information from us. You can also go to the leadership of your local association to find out more about that. The third level of leadership, and the one that I would especially encourage anybody who's interested to let us know about, is our committees and our task forces. So we have an assortment of subject matter rooted committees, everything here from agriculture to animal welfare to inclusion and diversity. One that is not on here, which we're just commissioning, is an education committee that's going to help us put on our continuing education offerings over the course of the year. So if any of these sound interesting to you, some of them are fully populated right now, but we do have term limits, so people roll on and off. If any of these are of interest to you, I encourage you here to go to the website and fill out this committee interest form. That allows us to get your information, get your statement of interest as to which of these committees you might be interested in, and it gives us a really easy way when we're populating committees going forward to say, okay, well, Dr. X is interested in thus and such committee. Let's contact them in order to find out if they are still interested and to possibly make that happen. So please do fill out that committee interest form if membership on any of these committees is a potential item of interest. Moving on, couple of the things that we try to do to inform folks, and won't linger on this, but we have a bi-monthly magazine, the California Veterinarian, that goes out every 2 months. So that's kind of our main mode of communication to membership. We also have our weekly Connect e-newsletter that goes out every Wednesday. So one of them just went out today. And that is kind of a more nimble, more dynamic way to push out weekly information in more bite-sized chunks. And then another thing that we do, we have our website, which is omnipresent, and occasionally I will do these directors check-ins, which you can see here on your screen. I try to do those every, say, 3 to 4 weeks, and those will talk about anything from initiatives that we're working on, or forthcoming CE, or legislative work that we're doing. So if you really want kind of a bite-sized 1 minute to 90-second check-in, you can go to the website and look at these directors check-ins. And then Dr. Bowie's kind of welcome message, we do that each year with our new incoming president. If you ever want to know exactly what we are most sort of intensely working on in any given year, the real document to look at is our action plan. So this document is something that we formulate each year at our strategic planning session that we hold in October. So we have another one coming up. Each year we spend essentially a day and a half in addition to our regular board meeting with the board and with staff formulating the action items that we want to be working on for the forthcoming year. So you can go and see this on the website. I'll just scroll through to the first page here. So you can see the various goals that we have. These are active goals that we're working on right now in 2025, 2026. And then if you go further down the list, you can see each goal listed out and the exact work that we're doing during the period at issue. So if you ever want to know beyond sort of our constitution, our bylaws, our governing documents, if you ever want to know what's top of mind for the board and by extension the CVMA staff, go to the website, check out our action plan, and we're certainly happy to answer any questions that you may have about any of the specific initiatives we're working on. Another big part of what we do, and you're probably all aware of this, is continuing education. We are a significant continuing education provider for the veterinary profession and the RVT profession in the state of California. Our principal CE event is the Pacific Veterinary Conference. That is our conference. That is these California VMA's conference, and we use Pacific Veterinary Conference because it is sort of a regional event. But in addition to that, that usually happens in June, 4 days. In addition to that, we have smaller CE events throughout the year. We have one-off webinars, one of which is pictured here coming up in a few weeks in September. We have our fall seminar, which we ping pong between Northern and Southern California each year. And then we have our spring seminar, which is consistently venued in Yosemite. Alongside the spring seminar, just a couple of years ago, we started a food animal medicine seminar and an equine medicine seminar. We're going to combine those events this coming April. So alongside our spring seminar in Yosemite, we'll be having a large animal medicine seminar that will encompass both food animal and equine. So we're going to combine them into one. And then the fall seminar, we are considering in 2026 possibly hosting an early career practitioner event alongside the fall seminar. So we're currently working on that. We have not yet kind of finalized plans for that, but it's something that we're very affirmatively thinking about. And then another thing that I'll mention here is the California Veterinary Medical Reserve Corps, which Dr. Miller here with us is the statewide coordinator and shotguns that entity. That is a 3,000 member volunteer corps. It's the largest corps of its kind in the country by far, and it deploys to disasters to provide relief for animals who have been either injured or displaced in designated disasters, declared states of emergency, etc. So the last fire that we typically there are fires. The last fire that we deployed to was last year's park fire. And so this is a big thing that we're very proud of. And we run occasional yearly training sessions for folks interested in joining the Corps. So we encourage you to look into that too if you're interested. The last thing that I'm going to mention before turning this over to Kristen is VISC. So Veterinary Insurance Services Company is a California insurance brokerage that is wholly owned by the CVMA. We're the only state veterinary association that has its own insurance brokerage. We offer very, very competitive insurance packages in a variety of different platforms, products. I won't go long form on it, but if you are interested in veterinary insurance, if you are, for instance, a current PLIT member and would like to take a look at what else is out there, we really encourage you to go to the VISC website and or contact VISC here. They're actually on the second floor of our building. So before I turn it over to Kristen, let's see what questions there are. Is the CVMA Certified Veterinary Assistant online program open to anyone, or is there a certain criteria that an individual needs to meet? I'm actually going to ferry that over here to Dr. Miller, as he's very much involved in that.
Yeah, thank you. So CVMA certified veterinary assistants are actually a membership category in the CVMA. And the CVMA program is a member benefit. So in order to access it, you have to have a CVMA member veterinarian who wants to then enroll one of their employees in the certification program. Then the employee becomes a member, but the rate for the employee to become a member is very low. We have a very low membership rate for that. And so the short answer is yes, you do have to be a member because it is a member benefit. Sorry to interject there.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna throw it over to Kristen.
Okay, thank you. Well, I too am going to share our website here. And so I want to take, let me make sure, am I sharing the correct screen?
Yep, that looks good.
Okay, great, thank you. I want to go through and take you on a tour of our member benefits briefly. So when you are on our CVMA homepage, you'll want to click on membership and then CVMA member benefits. There was a question in the Q&A about how to join. There's a couple places to join. One is here where it says join today, or here where it says join the CVMA, and there you'll find what the rates are, and then you can join. So if we click on the member benefits page, you'll see at the top here, we have our cornerstone benefits. These are benefits that are applied to all of our member types. So there's our advocacy and our regulatory resources and consultations, which I will let Dr. Miller cover next. Again, as Dan mentioned, we have the discounts on continuing education. We have our wholly owned insurance carrier, VISC, and information through the magazine and social media, etc. And then we have the CVMA Career Center where you can view or post your employment or practice sales ads. If we scroll down, you'll see that we broke out our segments, our membership into segments. So we have veterinarians, RVT and practice staff, early career veterinarians, students, and we even have savings for your practice. So I'd like to start down here with the savings for your practice. So if you click on it, you'll find there's a whole host of savings. I'm not going to go into each and every one just because of time consideration. So I would ask that you visit the website and poke around in here and see how you can save money and time. But I will point out a few. So one of them is our CVMA 401k retirement program, which is a multiple employer aggregate program. The CVMA itself has its staff participating in this 401k program. While I'm here, I'd like to point out when you log on, when you get onto the CVMA webpage, you can see all of the benefits. However, in order to access the benefits, you would need to click Member Access, and it would ask you to log into your account. So it'll send you a window, pop-up window asking you to log on. Once you log on, you'll be sent to the page that shows a more fulsome description of each benefit. And in there, you'll get a link to click that will go to the benefit provider's webpage. And in some cases, you might be given a coupon, sort of a coupon code to use in order to get your discount. So I'm going to back out here. Give me a moment. Go back down here. Okay, so other discounts that we have include, as I say, I'm going to just point out a few. HR to go, if you have HR duties that you would like to have someone else take care of, HR to go is offering a discount, and you can outsource all your HR needs, or if you have a la carte items that you would like them to take care of, such as updating your employee handbook or payroll or all sorts of services, they can do those. Another is Schoolie Mitchell. This is a fairly new benefit that we just rolled out. So Schoolie Mitchell can come into your practice free of charge, and they will look at all of your overhead costs. So things such as your telephone service, waste, supplies, and they can usually find some savings. If they do find savings and you choose to use those savings, they'll keep 50% of the savings and you keep the other 50%. And if they don't find any savings, it didn't cost you a thing, but you know that you've got the cheapest price that you can get. So that's a kind of exciting new member benefit. We also have providers who provide discounts for printing services. Clean Harbors has medical waste services without the long contract. Global Vet Link is a very popular benefit, offering discounts on electronic prescriptions, healthcare certificates, feed directives. And so again, I'd ask that you go through and just poke around in here, and I'm sure you can find some savings in here for your practice. So I'll go back out. So then when we get into these segments, all of these segments do have these core benefits down here. So health and wellness is one. I'd like to point out active and fit. So members can join. They have a large network of gyms, over 12,500, I believe, nationwide. And you join for $28 a month with no long-term contract. If you don't like the gym that you got, you can switch to another gym. They also have some premium studios like Pilates and yoga studios that you can join for 20 to 70% off. So you can, I pulled up Los Angeles just as an example, so you can see, you know, they have Gold's Gym, 24-hour fitness, Planet Fitness. So this is a good way to save money on your gym membership. They also have workout videos that you can do at home. Next, I wanted to point out the lifestyle and entertainment section. So one that is exciting is Tickets at Work. Tickets at Work has been described kind of as the Groupon meets Amazon model. So here is an area where you can save money on all sorts of things, anywhere from travel. So they've got hotel discounts, rental cars, cruises, water parks, zoos. And then they have dining, so you can find discounts at, oh, I was signed in earlier. Let's see. So you can search by your area. I searched Los Angeles just to give you some examples, but they have restaurants, they've got grocery stores, local attractions, sporting events, concerts, Broadway shows. So there's a whole host of ways you can save money using this benefit. And as an example, one of our staff members just a couple days ago told me that she saved on something called Craftsy, which they, as I understand it, they have videos on learning to do all sorts of crafts. It's usually $123 for the year. She got it for $1.99. So it was quite a savings. Now, going back to these segments, the reason that we segmented them out is there are specific benefits that will be of benefit to these different segments. So for example, for veterinarians, they get 30 minutes of free legal consultation each month. So that's a benefit that's specifically for our veterinarian members. We also have discounts on 2 AI record keeping programs, Scribble Vet and Vet Rec. And of course, as I said, you have the health and wellness and lifestyle and entertainment benefits down here. And then for our RVTs and practice staff, we have additional career development programs, including the Certified Veterinary Assistant program that we mentioned a few minutes ago, that will increase the value of your veterinary assistants in your practice. There's 2 levels of certification. For our early career veterinarians, they also have the access to the free legal advice. In addition, they have discounts to mentorship programs. And one that we're really excited about, we are just rolling it out now. You may have just gotten an email about it, is the Sabadoodle 90-Day Money Mentorship Program. This is for early career veterinarians. It's normally an $895 program. We have partnered with Care Credit, who's generously sponsoring $695 of the participants' cost. Plus, we have the CVMA discount. It brings it down to $100 per participant for this October 6th cohort. And so there's a limited number of seats. So if you're interested, it's again for CVMA members only. So you need to join if you're not a member. But this is a wonderful program that we're really excited to roll out. And lastly, for our students, if we have students on the call, we offer our students 4 years of free membership while they're in school, and then the first 2 years after are free, and then the 3rd and 4th year are at a lower discount rate. We offer them free complimentary or free professional liability coverage in all 4 years that they're in school. We also provide scholarships, and we have a summer work experience program. And the summer work experience program is something that practices would also benefit from, because they can meet possible new colleagues that they will benefit from in the future. So that's an overview of our member benefits, and I will pass it along to Grant to talk about advocacy and the regulatory resources.
Thanks, Kristen. Thank you all for being here and for showing interest in the CVMA, for a lot of you for being members already. And for those of you who aren't, I am the regulatory director at the California Vet Med Association, and my job is largely to help with political representation here at our Capitol. That's kind of a 2-pronged effort. One is at the Capitol itself with legislators who actually pass state laws. And then the other one is with state regulators, which are government agencies that oversee veterinary practice in California. And federally, we have federal agencies as well that we do have some interaction with. So there are actually 20 agencies that oversee veterinary practice in some way. And my job is to have expertise in all of those laws and regulations as they pertain to veterinary practice. And one of the member benefits that we offer is my consultation for you to help you in practice. And whether you're an RVT, a practice manager, or a veterinarian, I spend a lot of time on the phone or on email helping our members just comply with all of the regulatory requirements that are on veterinary practices. We realized kind of, I don't know, a few years back that the amount of information required to, adequately keep our profession informed is just too large to house on the CVMA website. And so oftentimes I get a lot of questions about, I was looking on the CVMA website and I couldn't find, what I was looking for. I couldn't find the answer. And that's because actually our regulatory information is not on cvma.net. It's on CVMA Watchdog, which is one of our websites. And hopefully you can see my screen share here. This is Watchdog. And a little hint at the top of all of our websites, you can actually just go to a navigator that shows you all of our different websites, whether it's our foundation, our insurance company, our Medical Reserve Corps, or Watchdog. But anyway, this is just another information resource that's largely available as a member benefit. There is some information on this site that's public, but most of it is if you're a member. And the site is really easily searchable. So if you wanted to, search something about veterinary misbranding or illegal veterinary practice, you can do it that way. You can also go to the main sections of the site: legal issues, practice safety, and regulatory compliance. For instance, if you go to regulatory compliance, we have a blog that talks about some of our more current issues, but also we have things broken down, hopefully, into pretty intuitive sections. So if you're interested in pharmaceutical type compliance, we have everything from compounding to drug misbranding, controlled substance DEA, that's a big one, cures. So you can come in here and find information about any of these things. For instance, if you want to know about prescriptions, just about everything you need to know about any of these things can be found in our FAQs. And so they're in basically every section, as are articles that I've largely written relating to all of the various subjects for these topics. So if you don't want to use that, you can use the search function. If you don't want to do that, you're welcome to contact me. And I try to be really responsive, quickly responsive to members as quickly as I can. In going back to the Watchdog homepage, I'd also like to point out that member benefit again, the CVMA Guide to Cal OSHA Compliance. Cal OSHA compliance can be a pretty complicated labyrinth of requirements, but a lot of them don't actually really apply. A lot of the Cal OSHA laws don't apply to veterinary practices, but there are a lot of laws that do that people don't know about. And so we actually created this online subscription guide as a member benefit that allows you to custom make a plan just for your practice. And that plan includes all of the special things that we have, like anesthesia gas machines, zoonotic disease prevention control, and a few others that are really specific to veterinary practice. But basically what you can do in this is go in and read these sections, complete these sections, and type in all the information that's needed, for your particular practice. You actually insert the information right in, hit save and continue, and at the end of it, when you've completed all the sections, you can actually print your guide and have that available. We also have special forms in here that you can use to help for your checklists and your inspections of your practice. And then probably most importantly, in the training section, we offer a number of really, really great veterinary specific trainings that you can use with your staff to cover Cal OSHA related topics. So I don't think in most businesses you're going to see a horse safety training, but we have those, bite and scratch avoidance and prevention. We have all those there. So that's another member benefit that's available through Watchdog. And again, we have all sorts of information in here to help you run your practices, to help you get your answers to all those questions that you're always wondering how they work. So that's one aspect of my job, is the regulatory compliance. It's actually the favorite part of my job, is talking with all of you, my colleagues, and helping you to keep your practices up to speed on what you're supposed to be doing. The other part, which is, a little bit more of a challenge sometimes, is the actual legislation piece. And as you probably all are aware, the veterinary profession is never missed at the Capitol when it comes time to write new laws. We frequently are, basically either sponsoring legislation or trying to stop legislation that somehow impacts the practice of veterinary medicine. So in our advocacy section, you can see a lot of our position statements. You can also always get an update on where we're at legislatively with the bills and what are our high priority bills, and what's our feeling on those bills. We on most of our priority bills we will put in fact sheets on those bills, and we also will publish our position letters as well as record our testimony right there at the Capitol, so you can see the work that CVMA is doing on behalf of the profession, and you can get a really clear idea as to what our opinion is on a lot of these bills. I understand that not everybody may have the same opinion, but the important part is that we as a profession have a voice at the Capitol, because if we're not at that table, we're on that menu. And so you might not agree with every single thing that our leadership decides, but I can assure you that our conclusions about our positions are derived only after massive deliberation between our legislative committee, which has 40 people, our legislative team, which includes about 10 people, our House of Delegates, which has information to add, which is around 75 or 80 people, and then our, of course, ultimately our Board of Governors, which Dan went over, who makes all of our decisions and tells us which way we're going. That's 16 people. So there are a huge number of your colleagues that are giving very thoughtful consideration to this legislation. At any one time, we always have our bill chart up with links to all the bills that we're following, the status of the bills, and then what our position is on the bills. So you can see that very transparently. And we do our best to really actively represent the profession, do the best we can to get ourselves into the best situations we can at the Capitol. It is very much like a watering hole at the Serengeti at the Capitol. So sometimes when you go to get a nice drink, you come out without your skin on. So it's definitely a major function of the CVMA. We're proud and happy to do it, but certainly our strength lies in our numbers and our membership. And the more members we have, the louder our voice is. So I always encourage everyone to please be a member, because again, we need everyone's support to be on board. So I think that's actually all I'm going to say. But if folks have any questions, you're welcome to type them in the Q&A. We definitely don't want to take too much of your time. We know dinner is coming and we're right at the middle of the week here. So we're happy to take any questions from folks. And again, just appreciate you all being here to hear a little bit about what we do.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks, Kristen. And yeah, I would echo that. We're happy to take any questions you might have after this. We're not super formal here, as you can probably tell. So reach out to us if you are wondering, what the membership experience is like. We're happy to answer any questions about that. We're happy to put you in contact with our leadership, with our veterinary and RVT leadership and existing members, to give you a sense from their perspective of what membership entails. So no question is too small, and we're happy to answer anything. Here we go. Can you touch on CAVMARK and vet techs?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So to remind everyone, CAVMARK is just a kind of a abbreviation for the California Veterinary Medical Reserve Corps, which, as Dan mentioned, is the largest volunteer corps in the United States of America for veterinarians and technicians. We volunteer in disasters to provide free veterinary care to animals in emergency shelters. That's mostly burn care, but a lot of the time it's also sick animal care. Those animals just get really stressed. So we have the vomiting, diarrhea, inappetence, anorexia, etc. So the CVMRC, the lifeblood of the CVMRC is registered veterinary technicians. We absolutely cannot do it without them. We have right now there's 3,100 members, actually 3,079 members, and about 1,300 of them are veterinarians, and the rest are technicians. And we really, as you know, we try to mimic the same practice structure in the field that we have in private practice, which is generally going to be one veterinarian to 2 to 3 technicians if we're lucky. Now, we know we have fewer technicians in the state than we do veterinarians, but we really try to, not stack the house with too many veterinarians when we're out there. With that said, a lot of veterinarians are out there changing bandages too, because they're out there to help. And so, sometimes we can't get a lot of the technicians out there just because technicians have to work. They can't take off work that many days. The good news is you can volunteer for one day if you want to. You don't have to go out there for days at a time. we certainly appreciate the help out there, but we don't want to overextend the gratitude and the volunteerism that you provide for us. So we love having RVTs in there. We need them. We provide some great continuing education that's applicable for both RVTs and veterinarians. Dan showed you that in our CE on our homepage. The next webinar training is 6.5 units. I think we're charging just about $100 for it. So that's pretty cheap CE. It's on a Sunday to try to help accommodate mostly the RVTs who usually are working Saturdays. So it's Sunday the 26th. You can sign up. If you're not a member of the CVMRC, by signing up for the training, we will spontaneously also register you for the MRC. And your participation in the MRC is voluntary. There's no cost. It's a great thing for your resume. And it's a great way to have some indelible experiences to highlight your career. I'd also like to circle back and remind you that your membership to the CVMA in general is tax deductible. There's a small portion that is not tax deductible, but most of it is. And I myself am a paying member, and I actually pay for my membership and then some through the use of the member benefits. You can probably, within the first day of joining, recoup your membership fee just by signing up with some of the member benefits. I use national pharmaceutical returns in my own practice for controlled substance disposal, and I love it because we don't have to pay a standard fee for a truck to come by. We just get to do it. We get to mail it away when we need to. And I love that. So I don't have to pay for something I don't need. I can just use it as I need it. I also use it for my medical waste disposal. I use Clean Harbors for my medical waste disposal, and that has worked out really well. And then I use Castle Press for a lot of my printing business cards and things like that. So there are some really great member benefits that we've really thoroughly researched and tried to find the very best providers and get you a good price on those. So there's a lot of opportunities there to save some money. Oh, and I use Global Vet Link for my equine extended CVIs. So, and they're the only ones that provide them electronically. So, anyway, so those are some of the member benefits that I utilize, and I encourage you to take another look at those as well. Any
Should
other
also-
questions?
Yeah, and just while we wait to see if anybody else does have a question, want to note that we are very responsive to member suggestions relative to things like member benefits and other initiatives that we should be working on. Indeed, I mean, we have several member benefits that germinated from membership suggestions. So, we're a large enough organization to have all the resources that one would want as a member, but we're small enough also to be super reactive and responsive to feedback that we get. So please don't be shy to offer suggestions. Again, look at the action plan. If there's anything that goes well beyond member benefits that you'd like to see the CVMA take a look at, make the suggestion. And it's always possible that we start moving forward on it. Last thing I'll say, if there aren't any more questions, is just to invite all of you to our fall seminar coming up in Monterey. It's from October 10th to the 12th. It's, I believe, up to 12 CE units on orthopedic surgery and ophthalmology. It's our first time, at least in quite a long time, in Monterey. And speaking of member feedback, we chose Monterey because about a year ago we did some surveying of our members to see what new spots they would like to have CE experiences in, and Monterey was at the top of the list. So we're going there. So invite you to join us. You can register on our website at cvma.net, and we would really love to see as many people as possible. So we don't have any more questions, so we won't keep you here as captives. Again, if you have questions going forward, please ask them, and we will get back to you. So I want to thank Kristen. I want to thank Grant. I want to thank all of you for being here. This was our first run doing one of these orientations. Also, last thing, if you have any feedback on this orientation, anything we missed, anything that we spent, time on that you didn't care about, please let us know that too, because this is our first time doing this, and we want to make sure that going forward, we're giving information that people find relevant. So Thanks to all of you, and we will hope to see you soon at a CVMA event.